Now, most people, they get up to maybe step 4 if they're lucky, and they never get to step 12. We see it here all the time. So we say, okay, having had a spiritual awakening, what's the spiritual awakening? The spiritual awakening is the shift that we get in step 3 and step 11 from self to, well, God, to higher power, to a new awakening. It's a spiritual awakening. What's the awakening? Is from being a selfish, self-centered person to helping others. In AA, the way it goes is you can't keep this recovery unless you give it away. So we tried to carry this message to alcoholics and practice these principles in all of our affairs. What are the principles? The all these 12 steps before everything that we've been working on. You know, where you write about your alcohol history in 1, come describe your own God in 2, 4 and 5, we do a moral inventory, and 6 and 7, we start to address our character defects or our defects of thinking. 8 and 9, whatever people that we messed over, we make amends to them. And then step 10 has us do 4 and 5 all over again on a daily basis to see how we're doing, as with 11. And now what our job is in here is to carry the message to others who are still suffering. So as an example, let's say you're in this group and you have somebody's phone number, or they call you. Maybe you've got a couple months sober and somebody calls you up and says, hey, or they text you, can I talk? Yeah, I need to talk to somebody. I'm not doing great. And you answer, no, go to hell. I'm not going to talk to you. Well, that's not the AA way. And we've seen that happen here. We just don't do it. What happened in AA, in order to keep your sobriety, you have to give it away. You have to be willing to talk. What is AA? It's one alcoholic helping another. What is AA? Alcoholics Anonymous, in short, is a 12-step process. It's a process. It's a process of 12 steps, which teaches you how to live your life without drinking. It rewires your brain. It reprograms the mind. That's just what it is. So in the early days of AA, between 1932, when Prohibition ended and America got back to drinking, and Alcoholics Anonymous was formed, the first 100 members of AA wrote this book by 1939, Alcoholics Anonymous, the textbook. Everybody should get it. And they came up with this 12-step process. And they all did the 12-step process together in a group like this. And voila, 80% to 100% stayed sober for the rest of their lives. But today in AA, according to the last census, only 10% stay sober. The other 90% drink themselves to death. Why is that? Because they don't do the 12-step process. They think AA is therapy, or they think it's a support group, or they go in and talk about their day. Or oftentimes you'll see people in there talking about their cats. Well, but that's not the 12-step process. It doesn't help you not one bit. You end up dying doing that. So here in this meeting, that's why we have certain animal days, like we have Cat Friday. Notice, where'd he go? Oh, there he is. Yeah, Matt. I see Matt, Super Cat. Preston has a cat. People bring their cats on this meeting on Friday. So we don't devote every goddamn meeting to people and their cats. You know, just not allowed. This is a fake cat. Cat Friday, get it? Okay. So anyways, now we're going to talk about this 12th step, having had a spiritual awakening as a result of these steps, we tried to carry this message to alcoholics and practice these principles in all of our affairs. Now, in this meeting, we don't really share phone numbers, and we don't share emails. And if you need to call somebody or text somebody, you can text me or one of our co-hosts, but they've been through all 12 steps. So the one thing we don't want to see happen in here is newcomers sponsoring newcomers or giving advice to newcomers. It never works. And until people really learn what the 12th step is and are willing to teach the program of AA the way that we're doing it here, which is the way AA did it in the 1930s, you're basically useless. So if you're new and you call some newcomers, we had that one day. This lady wanted some people's phone numbers who were a mess, and I'm like, no, let's get you through the 12th step and see if you can learn how to do that. So what we do here is we will sponsor you. We'll give you reading assignments, give you writing assignments. We'll teach you a basic AA program. We'll hand deliver it to you. So if you're wondering what, just show up here every day for 5 days. Come here and we'll put you to work. All right. We'll just put you to work and you'll learn how to do this. All right. So you are in the zone, the AA zone. All right. So now the 12th step, over to Jeff. Let's see, Jeff, I want to talk to you a little bit about this. So what is, here, I'm going to make you a co-host so you can unmute.
Okay.
So stay with me. So we're going to go to this chapter, working with others. And
Yep.
then you want to talk about this a little bit. It basically tells you how to 12-step people, generally people that are new. But if you're in this group and somebody gives you a call, there's another way to talk to them. But go ahead, Jeff. I'll let you take us through this book, this chapter.
Okay.
Everybody turn to page 89 in your
Okay.
big book, Working with Others. Put a link to that up, please, guys.
Okay. Working with others, starting here on page 89 of the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous, Jeff Alcoholic. Practical experience shows that nothing will so much ensure immunity from drinking as intensive work with other alcoholics. It works when other activities fail. This is our 12th suggestion. Carry this message to other alcoholics! Exclamation point. You can help when no one else can. You can secure their confidence when others fail. Remember, they are very ill. Life will take on a new meaning to watch people recover, to see them help others, to watch loneliness vanish, to see a fellowship grow up around you, to have a host of friends. This is an experience you must not miss. We know you will not want to miss it. Frequent contact with newcomers and with each other is the bright spot of our lives. Perhaps you are not acquainted with any drinkers who want to recover. You can easily find some by asking a few doctors, ministers, priests, or hospitals. They will gladly assist you. Don't start out as an evangelist or reformer. Unfortunately, a lot of prejudice exists. You will be handicapped if you arouse it. Ministers and doctors are competent, and you can learn much from them if you wish. But it happens that because of your own drinking experience, you can be uniquely useful to other alcoholics. So cooperate, never criticize. To be helpful is our only aim. When you discover a prospect for Alcoholics Anonymous, find out all you can about him. If he does not want to stop drinking, don't waste your time to persuade him. You may spoil a later opportunity. This advice is given for his family also. They should be patient, realizing they are dealing with a sick person. If there's any indication that he wants to stop, have a good talk with the person most interested in him, usually his wife.
Hey,
Get an idea.
Jeff, I'm going to
Go ahead.
interrupt you for a second. So
Go ahead, please.
so if you would read the parts that you like and then give your commentary on them, okay?
Okay. Well, so
Yeah, I just
far.
want you to read the parts you like and give the commentary on it. Go
Oh,
ahead.
I see, Jan. Okay, good. Well, so far, yeah. You know, we must give it away. We must carry this message to other alcoholics, an exclamation point. We can talk to another alcoholic and help that alcoholics by carrying this message, and when thereby helping the alcoholic like nobody else can, because we are sick, he is sick, we're recovered from this sickness, we want him to recover for the sickness. And if he can admit that he's sick, then we can help him. And if he can't admit that he's sick, or he doesn't want to stop drinking, we can't help him, and we should not waste our time. That pretty much brings it up to where we are, where I finished reading. And it gives us some good advice. If you want to deal with someone, but he's still on a drunk or a bender, don't deal with him when he's very drunk, and unless he's, and even if he's violent, I don't think we should get involved. We should just step back. I think people can comment on that later, whatever. But we must press upon him that we are a person who has recovered, and describe the fellowship to him, but so that he can have his own recovery and then try to help others. Okay, and you got to feed him into that. You're helping him. People help you. He can help other people when he is recovered himself. Okay, and you never force yourself upon him. Again, make sure the person wants to stop. The book goes to great lengths to describe how we should all hit our bottoms, and I think that's what they're getting at here. It talks about the family, and I can let you, I don't know how, I don't want to be extraneous about it. Maybe if I could just gloss over it a little bit, because I want to deal with how to work with the person we're working with, and how, he must be communicative. And we give him, I like to say, a sketch of our drinking career, and show that he'll see that he is more like us than not, because all of us have a lot of similar actions and consequences when we drink. And tell him it took a long time for me to understand that I was sick, and that gives me some insight into how I can work with him. Okay, and that to drink is to die. Get that to him, because it's a hopeless malady. If we cannot control our drinking, which we can't as alcoholics, if indeed we're alcoholics, then we die. It's a malady that brings about our death. And then it talks about the book, and when we bring that in, Jan, if you could help me a little bit about that. I'd like your ideas on that, about the AA book. When and how to.
I'll let you keep going. You're doing fine.
Okay, all right, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. It says on page 92, at this stage, don't refer to the book unless he has seen it and wishes to discuss it. And it says, let him draw his own, if he's read part of it, let him draw his own conclusion, and about his life. If he sticks to the idea that he can still control his drinking, as so many of us did, tell him that he possibly can, if he too is not an alcoholic. But have him to understand that if he feels he's an alcoholic, or can accept that he's an alcoholic, and he understands he has a deadly disease, then there's no dealing with that. He must surrender, and he must go through, must find a way not to recover from alcoholism, because it will kill him. And again, it talks about how our own personal experience is good as we relate it, without branding him an alcoholic yet. He has to do that, but he will see how his drinking patterns are so, or she is so in line with ours. It just always comes down to that. Okay. And on 93, there's something that's very important. It says, the main thing is that he be willing to believe in a power greater than himself, and that he live by spiritual principles. And this comes as a conclusion to us telling about how we were saved from the certain death of alcoholism by taking these steps that we're now working with him on, and have a spiritual awakening, and turn our lives in many ways over to proper alignment of the mind, and we turn our lives over to the power of God as we understand him.
And
And
Jeff, let me interrupt you for 1 sec. On page 92, if you're, and I don't know if you covered this, if you're satisfied that your prospect is a real alcoholic, you begin to dwell on the hopeless feature of the malady. Show this person from your own experience how the queer mental condition surrounding the first drink prevents normal functioning and willpower. So it talks about that. You got to tell the person. So let's say you're in this meeting. Somebody calls you from the meeting. They're having a hard time staying sober. Um, you're going to share your personal experience, your uh, experience, strength, and hope
Mhm.
with them. Continue, it says here, continue to speak of alcoholism as an illness, a fatal malady. Talk about the conditions of the body and mind which accompany it. Keep the person's attention focused mainly on your personal experience. Explain that many are doomed who never realize their predicament. So I the thing that really gets me is so many people come to AA and they refuse to talk to other members, and I think they don't know how. Hang on, Don, I want to ask you, 16 years. I know you've done this. Your take on this so far, 12, talking to other alcoholics when they call you or etc.
So far on point. As far as this chapter goes, I reread it every time before I start working the steps with another man, or if I'm going to approach a new man. I need to re-go over this stuff because it gives me some really good direction on what to do and what not to do to keep myself out of it and stay right with the book. That's real important. All of this stuff, there's a lot of if-then statements in there. Tell me if this, then that. It says that I'm supposed to determine whether this person is a real alcoholic or not. There's a lot of people that come without that are not alcoholics that have other issues that I can't, no matter how much experience that I have. And later on, it's going to get into, I don't know if you want to go up to page 96 and stuff like that yet. If
Go
you
ahead.
want to
What?
wait on
Yeah.
that.
Go ahead. What? Well, we got
Um,
94.
well,
Okay, go ahead.
well,
Yeah.
you I want to jump over to 95, and right in the middle is if he's not interested in your solution, if he expects you to act as a banker for his financial difficulties, or a nurse for his sprees, or fix this problem, or help me with a ride, or help me with this. Another person with a lot more years than I uh, tells me that that's a firehouse sponsee. They they start fires, and they take the fire and they put it in my lap, wanting me to put it out for them. You know,
Let me let, let
and
me let, let
and
me ask you
that's not
this,
my
okay?
job. Yeah.
Okay, let me ask you this, Don. I'm in this meeting. I've got a month sober, whatever. I'm
Hmm.
having a bad night. I got your phone number and I call you up, and you maybe know me a little. And I call you and I say, I'm not doing well. I don't feel great. I don't know if I'm going to drink or not. I just feel crazy. Uh,
What's going on?
Jan,
What's going on, Jen?
Jan suggested
What's
I call you. What's going
yeah?
on? I
Well,
don't know. I mean, I'm
what's
like,
going on today?
I don't know. I was at work and I came home and I'm just freaking out. I'm like, they just told me to call you.
Okay. How long you been at this, Jen? What, 10
30
days you
days.
said?
I got 30 days no drink.
Well, man, you first of all, you're doing pretty daggone well. You actually picked up the phone to call me.
Yeah, well,
Man,
they told me to, I didn't want to call you. I don't like you. They told me to call you and fucking here because
man, yeah, but that's powerful. That's powerful, Jan. I mean, I had a heck of a time. I had one heck of a time when I first came in my first early days. I did not want to, that phone got so heavy. You know that, Jen?
and
How did you
I'm
get,
ready to quit. I'm ready to quit this AA. It's a bunch of bullshit. I fucking don't like it. And the only reason I called you is I told them I'd call you. I think AA is bullshit. That's what I think.
well, it is not for everybody, Jan. It's not for everybody, but I've found that it works for me. Uh, it's the only thing that I've tried that actually works in getting around other people. It's the only thing that's been able to keep me focused in my life. focused in a direction that
I don't
I
like
can do
I don't like
things.
those meetings. I don't like the way they talk. I don't like
Well,
I don't like
if
the
it's
people
not
in
your if it's not your deal, I tell you what, there's other ways to get sober. There's other ways to get things right. We're not the only show in town. There's a lot of other ways. If if there's other ways that work for you, please check them
I don't
out.
like that guy that
Tell you what,
chairs the meeting.
I'll be here when you I'll be here when you get back, and I'll tell you what,
I'm not-
anytime you call, I
Yeah.
guarantee I will pick. If you call and leave a message, I will always call you back.
All right.
But
There you go.
you know,
That's see, that's it. That is what an AA person does.
Yep.
And Don and Jeff and everybody, I bring this up because this has happened exactly like
Mhm.
this week more times over. People get right up against the wall, and I've had it with AA, I've had it with
Mhm.
this guy, I've had it with that meeting, I've had it with you, and not only that, I don't like it one bit. And four people just five people blew right the fuck out. Like, see you later, I'm down the highway. What do you do with that? You do nothing with it. I go to the people that you guys that want to live and want to stay quit. Jeff,
Yeah, yeah. John,
thanks, Don.
I want, you may not like the program, you may not like me, but what I got to tell you about me is that every time it was pointed out early, and I never realized this, but it's true. Every time in my years of drinking, when I picked up a drink, I never had any idea it was going to take me. And I'm just so damn scared of that I'll put up with this AA, and I'm here for you if you need it. It works for me. I don't want to be that guy out there today drinking, and when I pick up a drink, I have no idea where it's going to take me. I know the difference. Give us a lot. I don't know about AA, or maybe don't even like, but that's what I know. That I can pass on to you right
How
now.
about this? I'm going to do it on my own. I've come for 30 days. I've done all these 12 steps, and I'm like I've had it right up to here.
Well, did you ever read a book called Gunga Din? You're a better man than I, Gunga Din. Well, you sure as hell are, because that's not me, and that's not so many other people I know, and I'm still alive to tell you, you're a
Oh
better
my
man.
God.
I'm a sorry sack of shit without this program. That's just me.
and
Okay, yeah.
and it's okay if you have a better if you have another way. I cannot convince
Yeah.
you
Hmm.
of anything any more than when I was out in the wild that you could convince me of anything. That
All
just
right,
ain't
let's
gonna
listen.
happen.
I've talked to four other people and they don't like it either, and they're not coming back either.
Okay, we'll be here when you come back.
What? Yeah, the AA
I'll
keeps
save you a
going
seat.
up.
I'll save you a seat.
Look
But
at all the people that are in here.
actually, Dan, if
Yeah,
we go to
yeah.
66, if we go to 96, though,
Okay, go ahead.
that that tells me the book tells me what to do. First of all, I'd like to jump over to page 100 real
Mhm.
quick because I
All right.
always go over 196 with a new man that wants to work with me.
We have
Page
girls in here too.
100 says both you and the new man walk must walk day by day down the path of spiritual progress. If you persist, remarkable things will happen. My sponsor walked shoulder to shoulder with me. He did not push, he did not pull, he did not have a cattle prod, did not offer me ultimatums. He
Mhm.
he gave me total freedom, said you can do anything you want.
So let's read
If
that
you
again. Would you read that paragraph? Oh,
Yes, it's just the first couple of sentences there. Both you and the new man must walk day by day in the path of spiritual progress. If you persist, remarkable things will happen. When we look back, we realize that the things which came to us when we put ourselves in God's hands were better than anything we could have planned. Follow the dictates of a higher power, and you will presently live in a new and wonderful world. I visualize that. It's been my experience that we walk shoulder to shoulder. My sponsor and I walk shoulder to shoulder down that path. Like I said, he didn't push, he didn't pull, he didn't mandate or anything like that. I could do anything I want. I could disagree with him until the cows came home, and we've disagreed many times.
Mhm.
And eventually I learned that hey, got experience. And it's been very, very cool in that regard. But
All
then
right, I'm
over
going
on
to kick.
96, if I go
Oh,
back to 96,
go ahead.
it tells me as a sponsor or as a do not be discouraged if your prospect does not respond at once. Search out another and try again. You are sure to find someone desperate enough to accept what you have to offer. We find it a waste of time to keep chasing a man who
Yeah,
cannot or will not work
Yeah.
with you. If you leave such a person alone, he may become convinced that he cannot recover by himself. To spend too much time on any one situation is to deny some other alcoholic the opportunity to live and be happy. I'm not spending a whole lot of time trying to convince you of anything. I will walk through the gates of hell with you,
yeah.
but I ain't gonna chase you and pull you down the road.
One
I'm a
of the,
little
and
hard line that
I,
way, but
I certainly, I'm certainly that way myself. And then there's so many people that come here. Do you know that we have, this is for everybody. We have about 100 new people, like you, Octavia, who come to this meeting every single week. Like today, there's probably 10 new people in here. So we have about 100, a week that come. We've had over 30,000 people come to this meeting. 1,000 people have gone through this 12-step process with us and got sober and stayed sober. We have 200 people who come regularly. And today we are talking about the 12th step. These are like your instructions on how to do 12-step work with somebody when you run into them and they're asking you for help. Maybe they call you on the phone. Maybe you see them and they say, I think I have a drinking problem. What did you do? Over to you, Jeff. Back to you. What's the next thing you want to get to?
Okay. Well, it talks about how if the person is willing, and if you wind up starting on that journey towards spirituality, you know, how you would, what are some of the important things? I mean, and it's his, you are not there. You're not there to provide him, money or social position or anything like that. He's there. He has to do the work. You're there to take him through the steps as they appear in this book, and it's important to get that across, get that out there. Okay, um, and you know, it says talks about here making sure that every man understands that he
What
can
page are
get
you on?
well. Go ahead.
What page are you on?
Oh, I'm on 98 right now.
Okay.
Okay. And that we must, um, it talks about working with the family. I don't know, how I don't want to get bogged down in that. I want to stick with, if I can, working with that, just the individual. Um, it talks something very important on 98. It says the minute we put our work on a service plane, the alcoholic commences to rely on our assistance rather than God. We are the conduit that helps him to get to where he needs to get. His recovery through coming to a spiritual, we're operating on a spiritual plane. Okay, it took me a long time to understand this. I think I do now. The minute we put our work on a service plane, the alcoholic commences to rely on our assistance rather than God. We're here to put him through the steps, not to be the ultimate source of his reliance.
Okay, I'm gonna
That's
stop you
important.
right there for a
Yes,
second.
please go
So
ahead, please.
one of the things that I always like to advocate for those of us in this meeting, in this group, if somebody calls you, I had a sponsor that they would refer me to a step. So I'd call up and say, "Oh, my relationship's not doing great. I don't know. Things are really bad. My businesses." And and he says, "Wait, wait, wait, stop." So have you done a 10th step on this? I'm like, what?
Yeah,
A 10th step?
yeah.
No, no, I need to talk. Do me a favor. Go to page 84 in the big book and do what it says there on the 10th step. And then write about it, okay? And he'll turn to page 84 with me and say, see where it says right here, this you're on your problem. It says here, um, we personal inventory continue to write many mistakes that watch what these crop up. We ask God to remove them at once. Then we resolve. Here it is. Let me see where it is. 84, step 10. And it asks us, where have I been selfish, self-centered, dishonest? Where was I wrong? What is the issue? And we do a 10th step on it, maybe an 11th step. Call me back. Call me back in half an hour. Write about this, and then call me back. Okay. Well, no, just it's my girlfriend. Okay. So run her through the 10th step. Now, we just had a bunch of people this week. I did exactly that. Run it through the 10th step. Oh, fuck you, Jan. I've just about it. And that's what alcoholics do. What? Fuck you. No, fuck you. No, fuck you. No, seriously, the 10th step. It's the opposite of fuck you. How do I solve this problem? Cassie, where are you at? This is your, can you talk? Is that what you do with sponsees? You tell them the 10 steps?
Um, no, actually, I only have one sponsee. She's my first one, and
Yeah.
we're just on. He's been quiet this whole entire time, and now I'm talking, and he wants to scream.
Okay.
I just got her to step 8. He's fine if I just
Well, okay.
pop out
So
for
you
a
said
second.
the 10th step was your favorite step.
It is, yeah, I do love it. So she's not there just yet, but
You are there.
I am there. I've been there.
Yeah, and
Okay, I just want to make sure my husband's in the bathroom with him.
okay.
And about the 10 step, yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Like it's something where when you're having like one of those awful days to really sit back and think about what is my wrongdoings of the day and what did I do, and what can I do to make it better.
Yeah. So we take those situations through step 10 and 11. Calling up Don on the phone and whining at him, oh, Don, I don't know. That's not going to do me any good, and it's not going to do him any good. So, okay. Thank you. I know you're busy. Back to you, Jeff, more on step 12.
Okay. It talks about he was living by new principles, and and the people around him. Okay, this is it's important. You say burn into the idea of his consciousness of every man that he can get well regardless of anyone. The only condition is that he trust in God and clean house. And I believe that's what you're talking about, cleaning house with this 10 step. What was your part in it, Jeff? What did you do a 10 step on it? I've learned, I heard that when I first came in, and I've learned that really helps. It's a lifesaver for me. Okay. Because I don't have to be right all the time anymore. I'm not right most of the time, It talks about argument and fault finding should be avoided. It says like the plague, and how the family will react around him. Okay, which I don't, let's see, I don't know really how to comment on that, except that we have to go and acquire that spiritual plane no matter what. How people react around us is their business. We just try and do the best with these steps that we can. Okay. And we must not be deterred from that. At least that's my feeling on it.
Well, I can
And
talk about the family a
sure,
little
would
bit.
you please?
And
Yeah.
I've sponsored plenty of people they're married, have a husband, have wife, kids, where the husband and will come over for a barbecue, come over for coffee, come to our meeting, that sort of thing. And usually it's pretty simple, the a lot of times if there's a wife or even a husband, I'll suggest they go to Al-Anon. But certainly, they come over, we'll have a barbecue here, come over, talk, how is it going? Good. And so that they feel included, because this is a family program. To isolate ourselves completely just in AA and we're going to exclude the family. That just doesn't work. The court, if you're married, the wife or husband, they already know what's up. They know everything. We talk about this in the ninth step about
Mhm.
what not to do. Um, sometimes, family, both people in the marriage are alcoholics and addicts. We had a guy who came to this meeting for 3 years. His wife was still drinking, and she came a few times to the meeting and to some of our barbecues and had been in and around AA forever. Um, and then eventually just got sober and started going to meetings herself, and both people got sober. I've seen it where there is a wife and a husband, and one of them ends up going to Al-Anon, working a separate program, and both people get into recovery. Now, I've also seen it the other way, where the spouse or other part of the relationship um, does not want to get sober and ends up dying. I mean, that happens here too. We've had at least once a month in this meeting, somebody dies. Knowing that we have, probably 400 people that come through this meeting every single month, and or at least, and somebody's going to be a fatality somewhere, and we'll hear about it. Somebody's husband or wife will call, they're in the hospital, they're dying, or their parents will call or send us a message that so and so died in his car from a drug overdose. Or I've seen husbands come in here and get sober, and then the wife did not want to get sober, and the husband decided made a decision to go back to drinking so that he could be with his wife and share drinking with his wife, and they both live a miserable life. It's like alcoholism. So that's why sometimes, people will look at me and they go, "You're kind of a son of a bitch, Jan." And I'm like, "Okay, so what?" Or "You're sort of hardcore." And I'm like, "Yeah." But so like that little role playing I was doing with Don, I mean, those are real conversations that
Mhm.
I've had
Real
with people,
conversations, yeah.
you know, like this week. And I'm like, the flip, the other part of this is that alcoholism it is a horrible illness. It will kill you. And if it doesn't kill you, it will make your life so completely miserable as you get older. It will destroy you. I mean, I was 28 when I came into my first AA meeting, but I was 18 when I was admitted to my first alcohol treatment center by the police. I was court ordered in there, taken right to it. And I didn't get the message then. It took me 10 years to get to AA. I started coming to AA in February of 1995, and I've been coming back ever since. I never stopped coming. As soon as I got here, there were people here in Boulder in their 20s who were going to AA meetings, and they told my story. The woman that was chairing the first meeting I went to, she was 26. She was a lawyer in Boulder. Didn't look like an alcoholic, but she had a story just like mine. I was 28, a professional, been fired, drinking, bouncing around, when I went from having, in short order, I went from having a wife, kids, car, land, home, to broke and couch surfing. Um, and alcohol quickly destroyed my life, and it was about to completely destroy my mind and make me homeless. And that's when I got here. I thought, oops, this is a mistake, this drinking business. And I kept coming here because people would talk to me and they were nice. And it wasn't the bar. If you go to the bar, why do people go to the bar? They go there to drink. Well, I pretty much stopped drinking when I got here. Um, yeah, the 12th step. So, we have a responsibility to at least talk to another alcoholic when they call us on the phone. I mean, the least we can do is tell them your story. That's what it says, right? Just
Mhm.
tell them your story. And that's what we do. And refer them to the program. Say, okay, well, how about going to a meeting? You know, and maybe you can get started on these steps, especially if you know 'em. I think the worst thing you can do is do your own private little program. You'll sit there and listen to them, and you do the rehab thing, you know, just listen and they talk, which is complete nonsense. Um, it takes practice to do this 12 step, and we're kind of out of practice here in this group. Um, but today we talked about it. And
Mhm.
Jeff has taken, like, Jeff, you didn't you meet with like Preston and Matt and take them through this, through the 12 step, right? Didn't that
Should
happen, Preston?
we should do that? Okay.
No, I'm
Would
saying
you
you
like?
did, right,
Oh,
Preston?
yes,
Didn't
we
he
have.
take
Yeah, yes, yeah.
that, right,
We,
Matt?
we,
Talk,
in the breakout
Yeah,
rooms, yeah.
With
say something.
Cassie, I think Cassie was in on
Yeah.
part of it. And
Were
about
you,
getting,
were you in on it? Were you in at that? Were you in that too, Cassie? Say something. You have to say yes.
Yes, I was. I'm used to having to unmute. Yes, I was.
Yes, you have to unmute. Matt, were you in that where Jeff took you through the 12th step?
yeah, yeah, me and Cassie, I think, Preston.
Yep. Mhm.
Well, maybe that's why you're still here.
Yeah.
You think? So
Yeah,
you guys are
I,
open to do, you're open to do 12 step work. You're open to
Yeah.
talk to people. You're open to helping people.
Yeah.
What happens to the people that are not open to doing that? What do? They get on a jet plane and fly to California?
I don't know.
No, I mean, I used to be exactly like that. I mean, yeah, it kind of like what you said. You came in when you're 18, and I just wasn't ready at all. I had many more, basically a decade. It's kind of the same time frame. I had like a decade before it really started to sink in. So I just wasn't ready.
Now you're pretty open. You seem like you're willing to talk to
Yeah,
people and do the stuff.
absolutely. I just had to be, completely beaten down time and time again.
You had to get your ass. Yeah. How about you? Where'd he go? Matt. So so why are you still here? Why are you willing to help people?
I mean, I feel like I've gotten to the 12 step and I've never gotten off of it because there's sort of no end. I mean, it's like you can keep helping people. And I mean, I enjoy this meeting. I enjoy seeing different people come with the same issues I had and the same, wanting the same help. It worked for me. I mean, just going through the 12 steps. I mean, I never went to any other meetings really, like non this class. So going through the steps was key for me, following it all the way through the end.
How about
And
you, Cassie? Why do you keep coming here?
I think now that I'm on the 12 step and sponsoring, it's different when you're the one learning it, and I'm still learning it, but it's so different when you're teaching it because you have to learn it to be able to teach it. And then just listening to everybody doing the steps in this program, the steps are what keep me sober. It's not listening to people's stories. It's not listening to,
Yes.
I mean, that's a great part of the program, but it's the steps that keep me sober. And the 12th step is me giving it away and sharing my experience with people who are struggling.
Yeah, Don, why do you keep coming back here to this meeting? You could be going someplace else.
I could be, and I can't come as often as I'd like due to other service commitments, but I like being available if I can be of service.
Yeah.
There's many times I just sit and listen and you don't find a need to call on me and that's okay.
You know,
But if I can be of
Mhm.
service and help
Mhm.
another suffering alcoholic, it keeps me alive. Keeps me alive. Thank you.
there you go. There you go, kids. Over to you, Matt. You want to read the promises? Perfect meeting, everybody. Perfect.
Yep, sure. These are the promises in the big book on page 83. If we're painstaking about this phase of our development, we will be amazed before we're halfway through. We're going to know a new freedom and a new happiness. We will not regret the past nor wish to shut the door on it. We will comprehend the word serenity and we will know peace. No matter how far down the scale we've gone, we will see how our experience can benefit others. That feeling of uselessness and self pity will disappear. We will lose interest in selfish things and gain interest in our fellows. Self seeking will slip away.
Our whole attitude and outlook upon life will change. Fear of people and of economic insecurity will leave us. We'll intuitively know how to handle situations which used to baffle us. We'll suddenly realize that God is doing for us what we could not do for ourselves. Are these extravagant promises? We think not. They're being fulfilled among us, sometimes quickly, sometimes slowly. They'll always materialize if we work for them.
Okay,
Back to you, Jan.
thank you. Okay, here comes the serenity prayer. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. This meeting is officially over.